A lot of articles centering on Series 11 and the 13th Doctor seem to share the same basic delusions. This gem from Salon came out a little over a week ago and is full of hilarity. First item on the checklist, begin with a healthy dose of identity politics. Melanie McFarlane claims that, quote, the regeneration of Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker's Time Lord, proved naysayers wrong. Oh, it did. I guess I missed something here. Making the Doctor a woman necessitates change, and despite sexist wishes for her to fail, she transformed the show. Very well then, thanks for reminding me. Anybody that criticizes the 13th Doctor is sexist. Just a thought though, isn't claiming that she shouldn't have to live up to the same scrutiny as male doctors being a bit sexist towards women? You're right in saying that Jodie Whittaker transformed the show, and oh, what a transformation it was. Next item on the checklist, claiming that anybody that doesn't like the 13th Doctor has a problem with women. Our friend Melanie claims the two narratives sprouted after the 13th Doctor was announced. I wonder what they will be. She says the first assumed audiences would reject a female Doctor after 55 years and 12 men playing the part, ready to blame gendered storylines for any ratings decline. This would be proven wrong by ratings data, but that didn't prevent a few dumb headlines from popping up as the season's audience settled into its pattern. Nope, there are plenty of competent women that could have taken the role. Our problem is with Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. Ratings data that really doesn't say much about what people actually think about the show. Perhaps you should look at Rotten Tomatoes or just take a look at what people are saying online, and that should give you a good idea about what people actually think about Series 11. As for the ratings, this is the first series that saw a steady decline between episodes 1 and 9, while other series bounce back and forth. What this means is that people who stopped watching the show stopped watching the show. It wasn't that they just missed an episode and then caught up the following week. We did at least manage to find some humor in how badly the gendered and SJW storylines slammed you in the head with a 2x4, with no subtlety at all. The next item on our checklist is unearned praise for Doctor 13, and according to our friend Melanie, this blossomed after Whittaker's debut. Apparently, we rooted around for shortcomings with Doctor 13. Sorry, Melanie, we didn't need to root around for these shortcomings. We got punched in the face with them. She says that every actor who assumes the role faces some criticism in the beginning. Yep, and all but this one overcame that criticism by being, I don't know, good. With Whittaker, however, a few knocks took on the pernicious tone of bias, perhaps not intentionally in some cases. Oh, our criticism was intentional, Melanie, but there's a scent of it nevertheless. I don't know, Melanie, but I'm sensing a bit of bias in this article. Multiple diagnoses of Whittaker's Doctor insist that, although she's doing a fine job, no, she's not, she nevertheless needs to be more of something, more ruthless, more decisive, more action-ready. How about more or less shit? More like the guys. An impossible ask? Not impossible for some actors, but impossible for Whittaker. Next item on the checklist, bring up the patriarchy and marginalization. In choosing to make the 13th Doctor a woman, the franchise by necessity is obligated to address the obstacles a patriarchal world throws in front of women and other marginalized people, like, say, her companions. Oh, it addressed the patriarchy alright. I suggest the marginalization drinking game called the Witchfinders. Make sure you have a designated driver though. Safety first. Melanie says that through this new Doctor, we were invited to interrogate how our definition of heroics and adventure shifts when a being the audience accepts as the smartest being in any situation happens to inhabit a female body. I have a better idea, Melanie. How about focusing on good stories rather than continuing to attack Doctor Who's primary fanbase? If Chibnall and the writers didn't do that, they'd be dinged for shoving a woman into a man's suit and ignoring the accompanying implications of that switch. Something many genre series do, but Doctor Who, a series about space-time travel, simply can't. It can't give us quality scripts free of ideology anymore either, apparently. In the face of danger, science fiction heroines are often enabled by technology or weaponry to level the playing field. The Doctor, on the other hand, has wit, strategy, and a sonic screwdriver. Oh, this Doctor loves her sonic screwdriver. She really, really loves it. Next item on the checklist, projection on the part of the author. As women around the world have been railing about for the past year, we can wield all manner of abilities with expertise and aplomb and still not be taken seriously. No, Melanie, I might not be able to take you seriously, but questioning women who have proven themselves, just like men who have proven themselves, is not a major problem in 2018. Apparently, it's perfectly fine to criticize men, but criticizing a horribly miscast woman, not because of her gender, but because she sucks, is apparently a crime of horrific proportions these days. This, in essence, was the Doctor's prime nemesis in Season 11. Yep, not any of the monsters we would want to see, Daleks, Cybermen, Zygons, the Master, the Ice Warriors. Hell, I'd even take the Absorbal off at this point. Nobody gets excited about a show where the villain is the evil patriarchy. Well, other than unhinged feminists and SJWs. Not the toothy murderous, otherworldly predator Tim Shaw, God that villain was terrible, who appeared in the premiere and returned for the season finale, but ignorance. Yep, nobody tunes into Doctor Who for the adventure. We're all more interested in a gender studies lecture session. Next item on the checklist, make sure you throw in the words white man as much as possible. Melanie informed informs us that the audience takes it for granted that a male Time Lord written by a white man can navigate just about any adventure without having to be concerned about whether his gender will impact his authority. There is this thing called historical context, Melanie. Things were different in the past than they are now. Of course, people like Melanie will try to convince you that nothing has changed, perhaps as a way to hide their own shortcomings. And don't forget to bring in intersectionality. What's taking some getting used to is the shift in focus of these adventures being centered upon a white male to viewing the universe from multiple perspectives, male, female, or gender neutral, via a person of color or an alien from other planets, galaxies, and universes. Actually, Melanie, we really don't care who the show's focused on. We just want good stories. When, however, you sacrifice good stories to focus on SJW talking points, then we tend to get a bit grumpy. I'm tired of saying this, Melanie. Next item on the checklist. Try to drive home your misguided belief that nothing has changed. Melanie touches on the past, again without proper context, then tells us that Dr. 13 could shield her companions Ryan, a black man, and Yasmin, a Muslim woman of Indian descent, from discrimination based on their skin color. Yaz is a good example. An equity hire that sucks at her job. This was discrimination in her favor. Moreover, it's pretty rich coming from you, Melanie, decrying the defamation of people based on their skin color. Didn't you just shit on white males? She then goes into Rosa, which, while highlighting real racism in Montgomery, Alabama in the 1950s, also forgot to mention any white people who fought against racism, and instead decided to use this episode to shit on white people. As I keep saying, replacing one form of racism with another form of racism is not a good thing. Next item on the checklist. Throw in the word misogyny. And more than a few times, the misogyny the Doctor faces is comical. Oh yes, Melanie. See, we can agree on that. The Witchfinders, featuring Alan Cumming having a blast as King James, see the Time Lord's demonstration of skills and logic defeated time and time again through entrenched sexism. Projection again, Melanie. It even defeats the Doctor's magical identification card, aka her psychic paper. Oh no. Honestly, she fumes at one point. If I was a bloke, I could get on with the job and not have to waste time defending myself. Oh, did we have fun with that line. Women have been saying this to themselves for time eternal. Which is the point. Again, Melanie, projection. We all need to clarify and justify ourselves at times. If somebody says something you said or did is crap, kind of like this article, then that's just one of those things called life. Next item on the checklist. Modern day, yo. Why would we want a continuation of a 55-year-old show, Melanie? No. Let's just cancel and reset everything. She says this is the first season to bring on writers of color. Nobody has a problem with that, Melanie. But again, I still want people who can write good episodes. These two did not write good episodes. They gave us propaganda pieces. There are many talented non-white writers out there. Why pick these two? Because their scripts were only included to push agendas. Apparently, according to Melanie, this is also the season in which the audience is invited to connect more profoundly to who the Doctor's companions are and what the world means to them, as opposed to discovering them as they discover themselves via their adventures through time and space. Nope, this has never been done before. Rose, Martha, Donna had no backstory at all. Nope, we knew nothing about them. Please do your research, Melanie. Next item on the checklist. Continue to drive home your theory that the ratings are indicative of quality. And yet a few idiotic tabloid takes attempted to paint Chibnall and Whittaker's turn in the TARDIS as a ratings failure, calling its politically correct plot points a turnoff. The ratings indicate the opposite to be true. Surprise, surprise. Again, Melanie, the final consolidated figures went down steadily from episodes 1 to 9, meaning that people left and didn't come back. A few of them returned for a non-event series finale, and I would bet that's where they decided they ain't coming back for good this time. I've already said this, Melanie. Should I also remind you again about Rotten Tomatoes and pretty much every online comment section? Next item on the checklist. Misrepresent why the ratings for The Woman Who Fell to Earth were so high. This was out of curiosity, Melanie, and I predicted these ratings more than a year before Series 11 aired. Next item. More unsupported praise for Dr. 13. She says many critics imply that she and the series need to be more like her predecessors. What one might ask in return is, why? Because every other era and Doctor were absolutely brilliant compared to this shit. She says, gender notwithstanding, the defining features of the Doctor is the character's intelligence, resourcefulness, and sense of righteousness, along with their confidence, determination, and capability. About the only thing on that list that applies to Doctor 13 is self-righteousness, but not in the same way as previous Doctors. The self-righteousness is based upon Whittaker's sexist and racist beliefs. The Doctor knows she's clever and refuses to dim that cleverness. No, this Doctor and actress is an egomaniac, and not in a good way like previous Doctors. Melanie, it's been a few lines since you mentioned white guys. Oh, never mind. She realizes that her latest regeneration comes with society-imposed implications on Earth that leave her charges more vulnerable than, say, the companions of a galactically entitled white man may be. Oh, Melanie, you do have some issues, dear, don't you? Next item. Who cares about the show being what it's supposed to be about? That would be boring. We need to indoctrinate. She says that if Broadchurch's hallmarks were its sensitivity to issues of class and culture, one cannot be surprised if the showrunner's interpretation of the universe is less concerned with finding a new intergalactic foe for number 13 than exploring the setbacks she and her companions face simply in being themselves. Yep, who cares about what the show has been about for the past 55 years? We just want to lecture. And then the article just rambles on for a bit. I'm assuming because Melanie had to reach her word limit or something. And there you have it, the 13th Doctor article checklist. Wasn't this fun? And that's it for today. Merry Christmas, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. And as always, thank you for watching. and have a great day.